because we're live.
All right.
Look at that. Hello there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tapcaf Transmissions, the only Star Wars podcast that's going to be about the Animal Planet tonight. I am your host, Corey. Joining me, as always, is my What's an E word that's otter related?
Excellent.
No, that's not related to otters.
Oh, otters. Energetic. Otters are energetic.
But I've called anyway. The whole year's
Mm,
ruined. I've been doing this so well forever, but now, how
yeah.
are you doing, Justin?
Right at the end, you fumbled it at the finish line. I'm good. I'm still a little bit sick. Like I don't feel sick, but I think I may have COVID. A lot of my buddies got it now. And like all I have really is a stuffy nose, which is
Yeah,
what they all said they have.
yeah.
And I was at an event the other day where there was a COVID notice, like the 1 hour I was there. So get my test back tomorrow. Either way, I feel like 95%. I think I got it also just from talking to Charlie.
Yeah, that
He's
can
just
happen. It can
so
transmit
nasty.
over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Other
I
than
was
that,
in
I'm
the
good.
same boat last week. That's why we canceled the podcast last week because
Yeah, that's
neither
what I
of
was
us
gonna
could
mention.
talk.
Mm-hmm.
You still don't sound. You sound kind of worse than you did like 2 days ago when I talked to you.
Um, I think that's just because I'm stuffed up though.
Hmm.
Like my throat doesn't hurt at all. It's just my nose is stuffed up. Um, but the other day, like I lost my voice completely.
Yeah.
Like I could barely speak. For one day, I couldn't speak at all. So the podcast was definitely out of the question. But yeah, like right now, I feel fine. I can't breathe through my nose. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's why he's not on webcam for everyone watching the video
yeah, I just
version
don't
of
feel
it.
like it.
It's less gross this way. But
Yeah, I'm
tonight,
gonna be blowing my nose and stuff. It's not gonna be pleasant.
yeah. So tonight we're going to be talking about the Corellian Trilogy Book 2, Assault at Selonia. Nailed that one.
Hmm.
So we're going to talk about that. There's been a little bit of Star Wars news to maybe talk about. There's not really much to say about Eclipse. There was a trailer out. Company sucks. That's
Yeah,
about. Well, the CEOs suck.
yeah, yeah. The company is otherwise seems fine. So I forget the name of the main guy. It's Quantic Dream is the company. The main guy is
Yeah,
like
David
homophobic.
Cage.
David Cage, right?
Yeah,
Homophobic. Says lots of stuff that's just not very epic. I think is probably the simplest way to put it. Um, and it sucks because I've only really played Detroit Become Human, and I really liked that game. And as I was playing it, was kind of thinking about how well it would have fit in the Star Wars universe because it's story driven. Um, paints a really interesting creates a really interesting world very quickly. But yeah, definitely going to be an interesting, to put it lightly, situation when that game comes out. And of course, Lucasfilm hasn't said anything, which kind of just
yeah.
makes it worse.
Yeah, this is a game that's been like rumored for a long time that Quantic Dream was going to be making a Star Wars game. So it's like these aren't new things that the CEOs were saying. Like this is stuff that's
Yeah,
been known for a long time.
yeah.
Questioning
On
if you
one
can.
hand,
I'm not under oath, so can I lie?
no, yeah, exactly. And it's like on one hand, they're bad, but like on the other hand, it's like all game companies seem to be bad.
Yeah,
Like that's kind of what
Blizzard,
we've been learning this year.
Riot, uh, even in
Ubisoft,
even Insomniac had
yeah,
a lot of stuff like that. It's just
yeah. Rockstar has always been
gross.
like, in like a lot of these companies, whether it's like open harassment of employees or homophobia or sexism or racism, whatever. Lots of isms that end up coming out from these old dinosaurs that run these game companies. There's also just the fact too that almost all of these game companies at some point end up fucking over their employees.
Yeah,
None of them are unionized. I believe the first video game union in North America um, was founded this week, but a lot of the employees are fucked over. It's just like what goes into AAA games is kind of gross. So
yeah.
it's I always kind of struggle with it because I obviously love video games, and like with Halo Infinite, like I was certainly glad they um they delayed that. There was actually a really interesting, not to get too off topic, there was a really interesting video put out by G4 the other day. G4 exists again, which is cool.
Yep.
Um,
X plays
about
back. Adam
X-Play is
Sessler
back.
is
This
still
video was
involved.
actually by Adam Sessler, and it was about Halo 2's development and like just how fucked up it was, and like how many people got divorced after it, and like yeah, people get put through the meat grinder basically.
Yeah. One of the weirdest
So
things I saw with it was like people trying to defend Cage by saying like, "Oh, well, the original article is in French and this was an automatically translated thing, so we can't know what any of it says." Like, there's people who speak French and read French. Like, I can read the
how
original
could
thing.
we
It's
know
in
what this means?
it's in there. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
whole
they gotta find the
industry
one
really
guy in
needs.
Canada.
Yeah,
They gotta find the one guy in Canada who speaks French and English, and good luck. Or
yeah,
one guy, period.
yeah.
I
And there was
playing
all
Halo last.
the Elliot Page stuff where Cage
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, because he was
fucking
in
gross.
Detroit or Heavy Rain. No, one of them, I think.
I think it was Heavy
maybe?
Rain. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never played any of them, but
Anyway, yeah, so that'll be something I'm sure we talk about more as the game approaches.
yeah, we got Book of Boba Fett in 2 weeks. On a lighter note,
Yeah. Yes. And they revealed today that like most of the footage that they've shown is from like the first, I think they said like 7 minutes of the episode or something, or like 15 minutes of the episode.
okay, that's good.
Which I like. It's kind of nice that like, because the Mandalorian I think has earned a lot of people's trust, rightfully so. The Mandalorian 1, they showed stuff from a lot of the season, I think all 8 episodes. Season 2's trailer kept it to like, the few trailers they had kept it to like 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, it was weird. All the promo stuff for season 2 was just the lady he picked up with the eggs. Like, all the promo stuff. There wasn't a single thing of Grogu or him.
Yeah, and I found that frustrating at the time, but now I'm like, okay, I'm glad they do this. And then I guess they're taking it to an even crazier extent now, where it's like, yeah, we're gonna give you 5 minutes of content. Just trust us, it's gonna be good. So I'm glad that they've got that confidence in their project. I do think it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. So the episode releases on the 29th, which is a Wednesday. So my assumption is that the Thursday we're then going to be doing Tapcaf about it, unless we end up moving it to the 29th.
Did they? So they did move it now, because it used to be Thursday, Friday, right? Like Thursday night.
Yeah, I think it's
now it's Wednesday,
maybe I'm
Thursday?
wrong, but I think it's like Wednesday over. Or
I know
would
they
it
were
even
planning
be?
on moving it, but I'm not positive. Let's just see. Book of Boba Fett release date. It says December 29th, and that is a Wednesday. So yeah. So it'll probably be releasing at like 11:59 December 29th.
Yeah.
Or
I'm never sure when they say like, oh, it's releasing that day, whether it's counting like the Pacific midnight or like 11:59 releases, like it's that day or the next one. I always forget, but
well, either way, that's the Wednesday. So
yeah.
So
it'll either be like the morning of the Thursday, I mean, versus the Wednesday night, which
because it used to be Friday morning, right?
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But, yeah. So we'll talk about that 2 episodes from now. I guess 1 episode from now. What are we going to be doing something next week? Because we got the X2 Christmas special. Are we going to be doing something Christmas specially here, or are we?
Could. I mean, I'm not really sure, to be honest. We are, I'm sure, going to be kind of busy with Christmas stuff coming up, so we'll have to think on that. I wish there was something else other than the holiday special. I can't be bothered.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I've watched it recently enough. Like when I got Dana to watch the Star Wars movies with me, we actually started with parts of the holiday special. Just like keep the expectations low.
Yeah, establish Boba Fett as a character.
Yeah.
B. Arthur.
Alex and Molly did their holiday special commentary recently, so I think just like last night even. So I think that's a Patreon thing for Star Wars Explained. So if people want to hear commentary on that, just use theirs. We're not watching.
Yeah, no, I'm not watching that bullshit. Oh, The Matrix is coming out soon, which I'm kind of excited about, but I don't know when it comes out, but soon.
Oh,
that's not Star Wars related, but just
not yet.
To mention that. Not yet, yeah.
All right, so I guess it's time to get into Assault at Selonia. So in this book, we open up with Han getting his ass beat by Drachmus the Selonian, and then I forget what else happens.
This book was really strange. So yeah, this book I read this one in soft cover, and it's 200. I thought it was a pretty short novel.
Yeah.
It's 289 pages, and I read it in like 4 hours. Like I was just flying through this thing because not a lot happens in it.
Yeah, it's like the typical middle of a trilogy setup.
I
Usually
thought it
you'll
was
end up with
actually a
like
bit
a
worse than middle of a
yeah.
trilogy setup because
Normally you'd have the battle ending, like you'd have a mid trilogy battle that
yeah,
ends, but this is like Luke goes to get the Baccarin fleet, Lando tries to call his girlfriend and vice versa. Leia and Mara
yeah,
escape from the hotel, and Han escapes from his prison. Those are kind of
yeah.
the main plots there.
It would have been like Empire Strikes Back if they ended when Luke arrives at Cloud City. Like
Yeah, pretty much.
it's definitely a bit strange. So yeah, like a lot of it is sort of the characters kind of escaping. Um, it's kind of the characters escaping the situation they got into the first book. So we see Han get captured. A lot of this book is him traveling with the Selonians. Um, we see Leia and Mara Jade traveling together. Luke and Lando traveling together. The kids and the Draws, right?
The
Are they
kids are with the Drolls, Han's with the
Yeah.
Selonians. Yeah,
I just think of them as hobbits. They're kind of like hobbits in a way. Um, and and yeah, that was really a lot of the book. I thought the most interesting part was probably the stuff with the kids.
yeah,
They visit another one of the planetary repulsors, which is kind of the big reveal in this novel. That we already kind of knew the Corellian system may have been engineered by some greater power, but in this novel, we learn that the planetary repulsors exist, and we still don't even know that Centerpoint Station is this big ultimate tool of destruction, which is kind of
yeah.
interesting.
Like these books give a lot more credit to the planets for moving into position, whereas like
Mhm.
later stuff, it usually just says no, it's all center point moving stuff into
Yeah,
position. So I think those do get like mostly dropped in other sources, the planetary repulsors.
yeah,
Uh,
I believe so.
but I think all the characters that are introduced in this series are pretty strong. Like
Hmm.
I like Ibrahim, I like
I really like
Oscillage,
Ibrahim.
I like
Oscillage, yeah.
the Selonians, but it kind of struggles with the pre-existing characters,
Mm.
especially Mara, who's kind of just like the swashbuckling
Everyone
Reddit
forgets
hungry
that she's not
person.
evil anymore.
Yeah. Like they've known her for 10 years and she's prime suspect in the
She's banged
who's thrown
Lando
up.
at this point.
Well, that's never been confirmed.
Yeah, I know. But let's be honest. But yeah, no, you're right. That's a good point. I did like Oscillage was a really interesting character. They ripped on him in this book. It's like the only battles he should have been fighting were in the buffet line or something, which I was
Which
like,
is weird because
damn.
it just described him as like really skinny,
Yeah, it's kind
like
of
slight
strange.
build, but then it's this man. I didn't know what they were getting at with the only wins battles and buffet lines after that. Like, does he?
Yeah. Another thing that I thought was weird is like there are several times where this book describes Luke as being like tall. And
Yeah,
Mark Hamill is not a tall guy. I'm pretty sure he's like
no.
probably 5'6" or 5'7".
Well, that's because in this series it's actually slightly bigger
Bigger
Luke.
Luke. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's just that was weird. It's like I would never describe Mark Hamill ever as a tall person. And it's like Gariel, I think, mentions it at one point. It's like there's another occasion where he's like this tall man in a robe who like presents himself well. It's like that ain't the Luke I know. He's a little short. He's a little short king.
well,
Not that 5'6" or 5'7" is that short, but I mean it's
but
not
Ocelot
tall.
is like looking up at him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Are people just like shorter in Star Wars? Has that ever been confirmed? Like
I
Vader is
think
obviously very tall, but
yeah.
Hayden Christensen is famously only 5'5".
Yeah, it's all fake leg. No, I think the actual truth is that the Bakurans are actually a cherub race. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. No way Mark Hamill's 5'9". I'm Googling this. Mark
Just
Hamill height.
tweet at him and ask. He'll answer.
Mark Hamill, somebody, when my son was born, someone tweeted at Mark Hamill and he said, "Congratulations, my Twitter account." And I think he said Kelsey for the birth of August. It was very special. I got that saved on my phone somewhere.
Nice.
Mark Hamill's 5'7". I was right. Don't ever doubt me again.
Yeah. See, I'm bad on the movie trivia. Like I don't know any of the behind the scenes movie stuff like the actors' heights and all that, but I'm good
Peter
with the
Mayhew
EU as the
tall,
mix with.
Carrie Fisher small.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. So Ocelot is canonically 5'2".
Yeah, Ocelot is
Um,
a cherub. He actually floats off the ground with little wings. He's very cute and sweet, but he's a very dangerous man as well.
yeah, I enjoyed him. I like having him
Mm.
around. Sucks that he dies, but
Yeah, I thought I actually thought that like out of all the Star Wars technology that's made up, um, especially for like these Bantamera novels where sometimes they're not really brought back, I think the hymns is actually one that kind of makes sense for me.
yeah,
Where I can kind of imagine like obviously nothing in Star Wars is anything close to scientific, but the interdictor basically rips you out of hyperspace. This kind of just your engine stops working, but you're in like a little bubble. I kind of imagine it like skipping across like a
yeah.
rock on water. Um, yeah, like from a obviously from a scientific standpoint, it's all nonsense, but from like a Star Wars logical sense, yeah, sure.
Well, interdiction is one of the technologies that like it shows up multiple times as being created in Star Wars, but it's more that it's a continuing arms race of interdiction gets made, people find out a way around it,
Yeah,
interdiction gets made again,
yeah.
and so it's just repeating that cycle, which is
The
nice.
hymns, I mean, I think the hymns does get brought up a few more
It
times,
does
even
at least
in like
once.
yeah, because I think it's in the Vong War once. I
Yeah.
think maybe it's in like Legacy of the Force at some point as well. Because I believe the New Republic gets it on some of their ships later on. But
It looks like it's just in NJO, but it's in
oh, okay,
NJO a few times.
okay, probably because they're using all like interdiction becomes kind of a big part of the
Yeah.
end point of the war. Aren't they like mining hyperspace lanes and stuff?
Yeah, like the NJO is mostly just like dealing with refugees and mining hyperspace lane. That's
Yeah,
90% of the NJO.
yeah, yeah. Um,
It
but yeah.
is
So sorry, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I didn't even know what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
Okay. It is kind of a not quite a drag, but like not the most fun that so much of a short book is already uh or so much of an already short book is just like all these people suspecting each other of stuff when you're going
Yeah.
in. Like when you're first reading this, it's probably less obvious, but like obviously we're going in with hindsight of like, okay, we know it's not
Mhm.
going to be Mara, it's not going to be the Selonians. There's not really
I think
much presence of the
yeah,
actual villains of the book in this one. It's just a few pages of like,
yeah,
oh, can Mara trust Leia? Can Leia trust Mara? I think even at
yeah.
the time, people probably assume like they're
I
not going
think
to make Mara be a heel
yeah.
turn.
I mean, you've read like especially like the Last Command, very like competently goes over Mara's point of view. Like I don't think if you've read those books, you can really think it's Mara like
Yeah.
reasonably.
Well,
Like
from that point, it's more like, how much is McBride or is Alan willing to like depart from prior Mara? Because it's already not really
yeah,
much like her.
yeah. It's just like Mara's always been the character who's like self-interested, but like she's also like the Han Solo type in that like
Yeah.
perhaps against her own will, she's kind-hearted and good-hearted.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like it's just I her killing a bunch of people needlessly is just not within any part of her
Yeah.
character.
I mean, Timothy Zahn's kind of gone too far the other direction with her, where I think he said
Mhm.
more recently, like, oh, well, even when she was the Emperor's hand, she was only in there to take out corrupt Imperial officials. She never killed any good people, never did anything
Yeah, I
against
don't know
rebels. So,
about
like,
that,
okay,
Chief.
come on. Like,
Yeah,
don't undermine your. It's something that he seems to do with every one of his characters, where, like,
yeah,
while giving them backstory, it turns into actually they were always great people.
yeah,
And it just like it doesn't work, and that's where you get into the Thrawn dichotomy. But
yeah. Especially where like Mara's kind of like a Vader analog in a way, like in the Thrawn trilogy,
yeah,
where it's like you can see that she's been manipulated and she's done all this evil shit, and now she's got to kind of live with it.
hmm
Um, yeah,
yeah, it doesn't really set her up in the Thrawn trilogy as in like she was the Emperor's hand, but she had some ground rules that he had to
no,
follow.
yeah. If anything, it was the opposite. Like she's done shit that she didn't want to, and now she's dealing with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But now she just wants to be a pirate and make money, which
Yeah.
is
Fair enough.
So we get into a little bit more of the uh at least exposition of the background of what the villains are doing. So like we
Hmm.
do get at the start some direct time with Thrak and Sal Solo. But we also hear about the Overden on Selonia, and we get
Hmm.
some hints at the Corellian Triad being kind of behind everything there. Uh,
Yeah.
but so like we see the fleet, the hidden fleet being built up on Socoria,
Hmm.
because everyone thinks that the Corellians or the Human League or all the other Drawlists, the Absolutists on Selonia don't have much to work with because they can't keep track of the fleet. And Kalendi, who works for New Republic Intelligence, tells Oscillage, like, well, we can't track every ship in the galaxy, so we don't know that they have nothing. We just kind of have to go in hoping they have
Yeah.
not too much.
Yeah. We've got a fake ship too, just in case.
Yeah.
Like, or it's not fake. It's been disabled during the jump. Yeah. It was. I was left kind of like, I think Lando's criticisms of the plan were like well explained. He's like, listen, like we're gonna be deep in enemy space. There's literally no way out. Like, is this the best
Yeah.
way to do it? And the oscillage is just like, well, trust me, like I've been doing this. This is my territory. He's like, all right.
Hmm.
I don't know though.
Well, I was thinking, oh, they're gonna jump in. They can't scramble in response. That's fine. But then they get there, and Austin's like, "Ha! Now they've only got 3 days to respond to us."
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Like I thought their next plan might be because the whole plan was to disable the interdiction field, so I thought they might be heading straight for center point to try to destroy it. But I guess
yeah,
I guess they're. I mean, the plan sort of does make sense. The idea is, oh, my alarm just went off for some reason. The idea is that they attack Selonia to sort of see how so kind of check the posturing of those in the Corellian system,
yeah,
and I guess they find some stuff out, but obviously there is still an entire hidden fleet that they're not aware of,
yeah,
and Centerpoint Station itself.
yeah. So their job is basically go in, see if they can disable the jump prevention, and then hopefully the New Republic will be able to come in with
Yeah,
better support for any actual fighting that follows it.
yeah,
And I really thought there was like a full battle in this book and then getting into another battle in the next one, but it really is just the one. Like this is just the approach to the
yeah.
battle at center point.
And I
So
assume those fighters were unmanned as well. I don't know if it confirms, but given what we saw in book one, those are probably unmanned fighters, right?
some of them probably are, but I don't think
Huh.
most of them are,
Okay.
because they
Interesting.
were like very pre-programmed with the initial thing,
Yeah, you're right.
and
That is
these were at
true.
least reacting more.
Yeah,
And then like
that's a
the
good point.
Selonian, because the Selonians, were they using uh the
I think they're
PPBs
using.
or
I thought they're using
LAFs, or were they
PPBs.
using cone ships?
I think they're using PPBs and LAFs because they
Okay,
mentioned both during the
yeah,
battle. I like how we have Luke and Lando flying together. That was kind of cool. Lando's in Lady Luck and Luke's in his X-wing.
yeah.
Would you say Lady Luck is one of the most iconic EU only ships? I'm trying to think of one that is more.
Uh, Lady Luck and Jade's Fire are kind of both on the same level, I think, for me.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know that. I guess Lady Luck shows up a little bit more, but I'm trying to think of other ships that might qualify, like Wild Card, maybe
Yeah.
Chimera.
Chimera.
But you're probably thinking like smaller stuff, or
Yeah, almost thinking kind of like ship type. Like I think a surprising amount of like Lady Luck is very kind of identifiable and
yeah,
like it even made it into like video games and stuff. I think it is it in Empire at War? I know it's in Jedi
no,
Knight 2. Um yeah, it's in Jedi Knight 2. I'm trying to think. I think it's in a few other games and stuff, but yeah. And it made its way into the Clone Wars. Not Lady Luck itself, but the ship type made its way into the Clone
yeah.
Wars. Yeah.
Number name in chat is saying Ebon Hawk, but I made an Ebon Hawk model that I finished like last night and then posted it in our dev chat, and then one of the devs didn't even know what it was. So
I think he's probably right with the Ebon Hawk, just because Kotor's so famous.
yeah,
But I was thinking I think I was thinking book ships.
yeah.
I don't count video games. 'Cause I would also say the Outrider
Does
probably.
Chimera count anymore? With like it's not technically the same ship in canon, but it is still
Yeah,
Star Destroyer Chimera.
I think that the Chimera is a lot more famous in universe than it is out of universe. Like, I don't know. Like to me, I don't really find that aside from the dreadnoughts, that the ships that Thrawn uses in the original trilogy are that kind of memorable. I guess. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything unique about them. Whereas, like the Lady Luck or like the Ebon Hawk all kind of have these little kind of personality quirks and like reasons to remember them. Or like the Chimera is literally just a star
Yeah.
destroyer.
But it's also the ship that has like the highest chance of making it from old expanded universe book to current universe live action show.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I actually wouldn't have been shocked if I wouldn't have been shocked if Lady Luck would have made it in Solo, just because I
Yeah.
know they already had it for Clone Wars and stuff as well. But yeah, you're probably right. The Chimera, I wouldn't be surprised if we see it in live action.
Wasn't
Do you?
there another Lando show or movie or something announced with all this
Yeah,
stuff?
there was the TV show called Lando announced. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, if that gets made,
and he
like,
will probably not have the Falcon. So
yeah, because like in Solo, it makes sense that the focus is going to be so much on the Falcon. But
Mhm.
now that they've got that like told and out of the way, they'll need a ship.
Yeah, that's true.
I hope it doesn't look
Um,
like Lady Luck because I fucking hate the Sora sub yacht look.
it's ugly as sin. Isn't that what Jade Fire is as well?
Yeah, or is it Jade Fire or Jade Shadow that's the Sora sub
Can't
yacht?
remember. Can't remember to be
Because I
honest.
think Fire might be the cool shaped one. No, Shadow is.
Shadows isn't Shadow destroyed in the Thrawn trilogy? Or
Uh,
no, maybe not. I can't remember.
yeah, it's no Shadow's the one she has later that Luke gets her. So I think
Right,
Jade's
because she
Fire is the
loses the fire and she's all sad about it because it was like I remember the scene. It's like it represented all of her personal freedom and stuff,
yeah.
and I can't remember in what context.
So
Whatever.
they're both Sora subs. So Jade's Fire is the personal luxury 3000,
Right.
but she has it painted with flames on it, so it's much cooler.
Yeah, much more epic that way.
Whereas Jade's Fire or Jade's Shadow is the Horizon class.
It's just Star Wars fans showing or Star Wars writers showing their understanding of women. It's like a woman gets a spaceship. The first thing she's gonna do is put racing flames on it. Maybe not.
Tendra's whole story in this book is having car trouble and trying to call her boyfriend
Yeah. Well, not even her boyfriend, like the guy that she's madly in love with.
after just
Um,
meeting. Yeah, it's not great,
yeah. Yeah, that's true. I
but
don't mind Ginger,
it
but
does
yeah,
pass.
she's.
It passes the Bechtel test because
I was
Mara and
thinking
Leia.
that. Yeah, I was thinking
They
that.
never
It
they
definitely
mention
does.
Luke only at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Um, I don't know what else I want to say about just kind of the book in general. It's just there's not really a lot to talk about for this one. Just to be completely honest, it's like it's very middling is like the perfect way to describe it. I I Mara's weird in it. I do enjoy Han visiting. Han's having a really bad time in this because
Yeah,
first he gets beat up by a big otter, um, and then he's basically crawling through tunnels for like days on end, um, just like hunched over, just miserable. And then he's like smelling all the otter sweat and like the sex smells,
yeah.
and it's like I like this kind of.
It is.
Yeah.
I do like that we get like all that time with Han and Drachmas, and Drachmas is
Mhm.
kind of setting up a specific view of the Selonians. Then you
Yeah.
get to the pilot, and they're like, "No, I don't know what the fuck she's talking
Yeah, like
about."
she's a weirdo. Like, yeah. I do like how their ship is just total ass as well. Like it's
Yeah,
just absolute garbage. It's like falling apart halfway to the next planet.
it seems like it's pretty big too. Like it's
Mm,
they've got like their own cabins in it,
yeah,
so it's
it's
at
kind of
least the size of the
oriented
Falcon.
weirdly.
Yeah, it's more like
Yeah,
a Slave One kind of
Slave One. Yeah,
situation.
kind of how I imagined it.
Yeah, because Slave One is kind of like a cone with a pointy nose or something.
Yeah, I was kind of curious though because Slave One, the way they showed it in the Mandalorian was pretty cool. Where like it's got like the almost like gyroscopic bit on the inside
Yeah,
where like it rotates, so like you get in standing up because it's like a vertical launch ship,
Hmm.
and then when it takes flight, the sort of midsection rotates. So I kind of wonder, like, when you get in the cone ship, you have to like climb in and like strap in a seat or something, like you would on a
I think
rocket.
so.
Yeah.
'Cause, like with Slave One, I think it's like the fins on the outside are kind of aligned with the way the inside is.
Yeah, that's a good
But
call. Yeah.
but with this, yeah, you just kind of climb in sideways. When you go to land, your toothbrush just falls out of the
Yeah, they're
sink.
kind of doing whatever they can with it's kind of like describing how it's a little bit limited in technology because half of it's like been scrounged, the other half is just like randomly put together. So yeah.
Did you have any actual notes on this? I only had a note of Oslage because I was going to try to get an AI drawing of him for an icon in Empire at War before I remembered he actually has a picture.
Oh, does
So
he?
it's just one of
No.
the like Brett Dossier pictures, I think. So it's like just hand drawn.
The only note I have here is galaxy mines because at one point, I forget who it is, says I wasn't dealing with any big galaxy mines here, which I just thought was like a very funny way to describe a stupid person as not having a galaxy mind.
Yeah, the Galaxy Brain meme started in
Yeah, exactly.
1994 on Assault at Selonia.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy how niche little Star Wars book has made it this far. Good for them.
Yeah.
That was literally my only note. I'm trying to think of any other general thoughts I had. Um, I enjoyed Gariel being back.
Yeah, that's
Um,
something we should probably talk about because
mhm.
it was our first controversial Tapcaf Transmissions moment.
In the
Gariel's
first
first
episode.
appearance. Yeah, like
Yeah.
we're getting back to our roots here, and this is the perfect moment if you would like to take a moment to apologize for saying Luke was acting like an incel in Truce at Bakura, which he was.
Yeah, so in Truce of Bakura, Luke is an incel because he falls in love with Gariel in like 2 seconds, doesn't see her as a person, sees her as like an object that he covets, and then kind of nice guys his way out of it.
Yeah,
Um, and he's a bit better in this book. There is shades of that, I would say.
yeah,
But kind of for both of them, they're both acting a bit weird.
yeah.
Like it always reminds me of like if I were writing women like in high school after my first girlfriend broke up with me. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, like I think this kind of sets it up as Gariel having been more into Luke than she really was
Yeah,
at the
it
time.
definitely does.
It's like 14 years later, she just lost her husband, so maybe that explains it a bit more. But like at the same time, I think a lot of people in that situation with a young child, like that close to losing their partner, probably wouldn't be thinking
Yeah.
about their 14-year
Although
ago single date
we have talked before about Luke and Callista, well, Abeloth Callista after he loses Mara, where
yeah, that's true.
he's kind of thinking about it.
So Luke never really grows out of this, is what we're saying. Like he's really bad with Callista. He's not great with Gariel. And then he's kind
Yeah.
of out of it a bit more with Mara. And then
Mhm.
Mara dies and he just reverts.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm interested to read because that also brings Luke back with what's her name? Why am I
That,
forgetting her? What?
the Fate of the Jedi
Luma,
stuff? Or,
Lumaya.
yeah.
Lumaya's, and they were kind of a thing.
I
I
think
reread all those comics back a while ago and really enjoyed them actually.
I think it puts a lot more in Legacy of the Force. There's more Mara and Lumaya than
Hmm.
Luke and Lumaya.
Yeah, yeah, because Luke's kind of dismissed all of that. Obviously, that was a
Yeah.
fun. That was a fun kind of situation. So I don't know if you've ever read the comics, but basically,
Mhm.
Luke is he's I forget what happens, but like his targeting computer goes out and he's using the Force to fire on Imperial ships. And Lumaya is like she's pretending to be a rebel, but she's an Imperial sleeper agent
Yeah.
basically. So he shoots at her and he thinks that he's accidentally killed his ally, but she's a she's a baddie. And she survives and turns into Darth Vader for a bit.
Yeah. I think one of my first and still one of my longest videos on Datapad was about Lumaya. I think
Oh
it was like
really?
I think it was like a 20-minute video on just Lumaya.
Jesus. I didn't even know there was 20 minutes worth of stuff to say
Yeah,
about her.
I reread all the comics about her, and it was a lot of work went into that video. How did it do? That's let's take a look at that while we think about maybe our rankings
Mhm.
uh for Assault at Selonia. Like, it is a lot of setup for the main battle that's going to be coming. Uh,
Yeah.
Oslage seems like pretty on board with like going to do this, so
Yeah.
they do
I've
have
been
a
a bit
cool
more
scene
trouble.
with like we have a cool scene with Luke and him. Got 10,000 views. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the scene with Luke and Oslage talking about uh Luke kind of opens up the conversation saying, "Oh, are you excited to be back
Oh
into
yeah.
it?" And he's like, "No, that'd be kind of crazy, but on the other hand, yeah, maybe a little bit." And trying to like balance the whole uh
Excitement of doing
enjoying,
battle with the fact that you're commanding people who are going to die.
like you're just deciding which of your people are going to die is how he put it, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like the book is well written. It's just not a huge amount happens, and I think it gets
Mhm.
some of the characterization wrong. Are kind of my two biggest complaints with this one. So I probably do put it below the first one,
What
but
did you put the first one at?
I don't remember. I think it was either B or C. Do we have the thing open? I don't have a link.
I don't know if I've got a link up right now
So I
either.
have to remember which Google account I have the
Yeah, hold on, I'll pull
thing
it up.
on. I think I have a link to the viewable one in here, but not the
Um, I don't think we've added it in yet. We'll have to
first
re-listen
ones.
to it.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay.
Let's see, Tapcaf tier list, master episode list.
Oh yeah, maybe it's
Yeah,
there.
Corellian Trilogy,
Yeah,
3 and 3. That
that's a B.
is those are C's we gave
Oh,
them.
those are C's. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna give it a C for this one as well. I think.
Yeah, I'd either say like low C or high D, but I don't feel like I
Yeah,
want to go all the way to a D
that's kind of
with
my
it.
situation too. If there were a C minus, I'd give that, but don't really feel like it.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the other stuff that I've given a D to, and it's I like
Yeah.
this probably more than that. Looking at the
Yeah.
other 3 stuff, like
Yeah. I didn't not enjoy my time with it. I just thought it could have been a lot better. So that's a
yeah,
C for me.
yeah. I think I'm happy to do C as well. Assault at Selonia. So if anyone wants to check out our prior rankings, there should be a link in the description to to the tier list that we've got set up. I think the public one does need to be updated.
Yeah, I can see if I can do that.
I think it exports from a different page than the main one. But we do have
Okay.
a few emails for tonight. If you have that open, if not, I can
I will
read
pull it
them.
open. You can read one, and then if you've got it open, then I can read one.
All right, our first question comes from Lego Star Wars fan, who asks, "What book is the Crimson Command from?"
I got that the other day, and I couldn't remember. It's from
It'd be in Dark Saber
yeah,
of
Dark
actual
Saber.
books, but it's like a lot of it is going to be like
Yep.
source book stuff, like Essential Guide to Warfare, that kind of thing, where it
Yep.
gets details fleshed out. It's not a
Yep.
huge factor in any book, so I wouldn't suggest reading Dark Saber expecting you're going to get a lot of like Crimson Command action, but that'd be where it comes up.
Okay, so we've got an interesting question from Maeve, who says she kind of mentioned that she's been reading the prequel era stuff after we covered Shatterpoint and Revenge of the Sith back. I think we covered Revenge of the Sith last year, even, but I can't. Maybe it
No,
was December.
it was both of them this year for
Okay.
Stover.
So she asks, so the council rejects Anakin for Jedi training and informs Qui-Gon of their decision, and Qui-Gon, of course, protests. But what would have happened if Qui-Gon had accepted? Naboo's future was uncertain at the point because of the Trade Federation, so Padme couldn't have agreed to take him, and if Anakin returned to Tatooine, he presumably would have been captured and sent back to slavery. What was the council's plan? What would have happened probably is Palpatine would have stepped in and been like, I'll mentor the child. And because at that point he was already aware of his power, I'm pretty sure.
Would he have been able to do it like surreptitiously? Like, would it be more of a he gets sent back to Tatooine because I guess the Jedi Order just doesn't give a fuck, and then Palpatine has to go retrieve him quietly? I don't think he'd be like, "Oh, just pop into the council chamber. I'll take this one, boy." Like, I'd be very suspicious if I was running a child abducting religious organization, and then the strange old government leader man came in and was like, "Hey, give me
One
that little
thing,
boy you just took from his home."
one thing I was thinking is that Palpatine can use this. Well, Anakin can be tied to saving Naboo because he won the pod race. That kind of got
That's true.
them. So I think Palpatine would be like, "Listen, I owe this." Because he's not even Chancellor at that point. He's the representative of Naboo's center. So he's like, "Listen, I owe this boy the lives of the people on
Center.
my planet. I will take care of him."
Yeah,
So
that's fair. We'll send him. He'll just say like, "Oh, I'm going to send him to my family's orphanage on Theed."
yeah.
And
Also, I'm an orphan as well.
yeah, my family got slaughtered in a hideous lightsaber accident. Only I survived. It was very disgusting. Anyways,
Yeah. I think he killed them all at the Force, didn't he?
yeah, he didn't have a lightsaber yet. He like choked him out and snapped their neck and stuff. I want to reread
Yeah.
Plagueis at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to.
But yeah.
I
So,
can read the next one.
thank you, Maeve.
Thank you. Very interesting question. Did we read Paul's?
We haven't read Paul's. His is next on audiobooks. I will read that one because you're going to be the one answering it. Since Justin uses audiobooks and produces and productions a lot, and most of the Star Wars audiobooks on Audible are abridged, what are your guys' opinion on this? Do you know why so many are abridged? And what abridged audiobooks can you recommend? Also, when might you do Outbound Flight?
So many of them are abridged because they were originally released on cassette, is my guess. I had cassette audiobooks back in the day, and they have to be switched every like hour, I believe. So it's just practical limitation of the hardware. Um, I wouldn't say that most of them are abridged. All new Star Wars audiobooks are unabridged. Right now, they're currently going through and releasing certain ones. Like the X-Wing series is getting an unabridged release. Thrawn series has got an unabridged release. When it comes to abridgments that I would recommend, I think the Legacy of the Force ones are very well done. Any book that you're only kind of interested in, but you want to get the main story beats, that's a good way to listen to it. But if you really want to kind of experience a story, sorry,
Yeah.
my nose, like X-Wing, I wouldn't recommend listening to those abridgments.
Yeah, I think another part of it is just like a lot of them started coming out when there was much less of a market for
Yeah, for sure.
portable long form audio, whereas now like everyone listens to podcasts, everyone
Yeah,
listens to audiobooks, they have their phone on them or some other similar device. Before it was like
that's a good
clunkier shit
point.
you had to carry around and like not many uh, ways to do it.
Yeah,
So a 4-hour audiobook versus a 40-hour audiobook, other technological limitations notwithstanding, probably made
yeah,
more sense for them to do. Plus you got to pay someone to read 40 hours.
yeah, for sure, for sure. You can find it online also. They do have like transcribed versions for people who are vision impaired. So sometimes you can find those, but yeah.
All right. So
We've got
thank you, Paul.
Braden next, I think.
Uh, yeah. Do you want to read Braden's?
Oh yeah, okay. This is from Braden. He says, "Hey, Corey and Eck, just wanted to make a quick email telling you guys how much you guys mean to me. I lost a friend of mine unexpectedly. You guys have helped keep my mind off some things when I really need it. I'm sure you get things like this all the time, but you guys are hands down my number one YouTubers, and your guys' content has been a bright spot for the past few days." I don't know what to say, Braden, but thank you for the email. That's very
Really sorry
touching.
for your loss. I'm glad we were able to help a bit,
Mm-hmm.
but talking
Yeah,
about otters fighting people,
yeah,
that yeah,
yeah.
that sucks.
That sucks. That sucks. Nothing else really to say. Seamus says, "Dark greetings, Zach and Corey," and I appreciate everyone who's been giving us dark greetings. Now that you finished YJK, Young Jedi Knights, going back, what was your favorite character moment of the series? He says that his is when Jason falls on Cloud City and Anya comes to realize that she does care about Jason and other young Jedi Knights. What was yours, Corey? Character moment.
I don't know. Some of the ones in the ones set on Ryloth were pretty good. Where like they all end up
Mm,
separated, so you have some
yeah.
good moments with like Jason and Tenel Ka, and then Jaina and Zek, and then Loey, and I think that one gets some of the character moments the best. But it's hard, yeah.
Yeah. I liked I like when Tenel Call lost her arm. I thought that was kind of an interesting.
Yeah, that too.
I don't like people having two arms. I'm fundamentally against it. No, I just thought her kind of adapting to that was a good character moment.
Yeah, dealing with like Jason's guilt and her having to like own
Yeah,
up to some of her
and
pride.
yeah, I like the Zek stuff too. I think I liked Zek kind of dealing with. Well, he deals with first the fact that he's kind of this bum among all of these like really fucking godlike children.
Mhm.
Force sensitive son and daughter of the most famous people in the galaxy. So I like that, and then of course he's got to deal with later on the he killed people thing. I think my favorite character moment has got to be the pain we see when Luke is forced to celebrate his sister's birthday, and no one mentions happy birthday to him, despite the fact that him and his sister are twins. Uh, yeah,
All right. Thank you, Seamus.
yeah. Thank you very much.
Our next question, our final question for the night, comes from Christopher, who says, "Dark greetings, Justin and Corey. A very,
Very
very
nice.
imperial salutations to you as well." What else is? What is the other thing they say? It's very imperial something.
Oh yeah.
It's
I can't
definitely
remember.
it's almost better than Dark greetings,
I
but
just love Dark Greetings because it like fully acknowledges that the Empire
yeah,
is
like
like they
the
can't even
gentleman
pretend.
to evil.
It's like compare like Dark Greetings with like the betrayal of the Empire, like Alphabet Squadron, where it's like we thought we were doing the right thing, but we weren't, and
Yeah.
oh, we killed people, and I still have dreams about it. And then in like fucking this book, it's like Dark Greetings.
So Christopher asks, from the end of the Bad Batch, it seems that cloning is soon to be phased out for good within the canon empire. However, I think it would be very interesting if alongside enlisted humans, the Empire used Sparty clones for their stormtroopers. Sparties were interesting in Legends in how they showed clones being stripped of their humanity and free will entirely. Acting purely as meat droids and having them be present within canon would add a further layer of tragedy to the clones. Do you think the Sparty cloning will appear in canon or not?
No, I don't think so. I think that when we're talking about a TV show and like something meant for wide like public consumption, when you're getting into like multiple levels of different clones, I think you're
Yeah,
maybe pushing it a bit too far. Um,
yeah,
I also think that like we've already kind of had the kind of established idea that a lot of this is based like there is research going on, but it's more about kind of Palpatine's stuff. At least in my opinion,
yeah.
it's more about Palpatine's or Moff Gideon's stuff than
And one of the things that's been done more and more with cloning as it's gone on is like examining the humanity of the people, or like of the
yeah,
clones. That's something that the Clone Wars did really well, like the show. But even the Sparty clones in Legends got the same treatment as well. Where like when you
yeah,
first see them, they're kind of treated as these disposable others.
yeah. Like you
But
got the Baron Fell clones.
yeah, you get the Devis in the Hand of Thrawn duology,
Yeah,
who help Han and Leia, who really just want to protect their homes.
yeah,
So
they're
I
just
think,
farmers.
yeah. So I think even within Legends, the Sparty clones weren't ultimately treated that way either. But I do agree that like having all these multiple layers and levels of cloning is probably not going to be something that
Yeah,
the shows are going to be into examining.
yeah. No, I agree on that as well. I also think that like canon and this is something I think you'll probably find too when you read Lost Stars. Canada's put like a lot of emphasis on how like nefarious the Empire's kind of conscription methods are, because like I guess there are other books that cover this too, and maybe even like Alphabet Squadron, where it's like when you conscript somebody from your planet, you're like getting the planet like when you conscript young people from a planet, the planet is in a way buying into the Empire's philosophy because they've got all these soldiers now fighting
Yeah.
for the faction. So it's like if Canada was a planet in Star Wars and the Empire comes and steals all of our 18 to 30-year-olds, it's like we're probably going to hope that things go well for the Imperial military, or else the Canadian Olympic team is going to be fucked.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
they can't all just come from the NHL.
Well, I'm actually kind of trying to come to terms with the fact that probably NHLers aren't going to go to the Olympics, which absolutely fucking sucks because the Olympic hockey is so good and it's really sad.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
I'll continue to
boring
not
then.
watch it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fucker.
All right. So, did you tell Charlie to reschedule the stream?
I told him to do it to 9:15. Yeah.
Okay. So, in about 20 minutes, we are going to be playing some Minecraft. So you can watch that on youtube.com/ECKSTOO or twitch.tv/Corey Loses. If I decide to stream it, I think I probably will. But
Okay.
yeah, so next week we'll decide what we're going to be doing, if anything special, for a potential Christmas episode. Otherwise, maybe it'll just be like Jedi Prince 2 and 3, like we were originally going to do.
Yeah, or like a show or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like a Book of Boba Fett preview or something could be
yeah,
fun.
we'll tweet out our plans when we know them. Then week after that is Book of Boba Fett. So yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
fun stuff coming up. Dark good nights,
Yeah.
everyone.
Dark, pleasant sleeps to you all.